Thursday, SMU Tulane in the AAC. We've got Tulane here in this one, currently 3-point home favorite, 65 the total. So normally, and look, I'd still probably only back the Tulane side here, but you do have to worry about a hangover and where they are mentally after last week. I mean, that was a game that was going to, decide who was going to be probably in the AAC championship game and face Cincinnati in that AAC championship game. But instead, Tulane loses. Well, let me actually look at the standings, because certainly that win means UCF, is in a spot where they're probably absolutely going to be playing for the AAC championship with that win over Tulane. Cincinnati now 5-1 in conference too. So, you got to, and Tulane is 5-1 as well. They're not out of it yet, with that first loss that they had against UCF last week. So there's still a lot on the line, but that their chances did take a hit, because now, if they end up tied with Central Florida, they lose the tiebreaker when it's all said and done. So that ends up being something that could hurt them a little bit. And you just worry too, because I was just shocked at how poorly they were against that defensively, against that UCF rush attack. I expected better from the Tulane defense, and they just had no answer whatsoever for Bowser and for John Reese Plumlee at the quarterback spot running that football. And they did a number on that UCF defense and that 38, or on that Tulane defense rather, in that 38-31 UCF victory over Tulane last week. So how does Tulane bounce back from that here? That ends up being the question. SMU, I mean, there's definitely a team, the difference in these two teams on the defensive side of the football. SMU's covered 4 straight. There's no denying how great Tanner Mordecai and the offense continues to be. They're putting up big points every week. They've got Tyler Levine, Kamar Wheaton, 2 terrific running backs getting the job done. They've got Rasheed Rice and Jordan Curley at the wide receiver spot, 2 big-time weapons in the passing game. So this is going to end up being definitely a big-time challenge for this Tulane defense that suddenly showed a few warts last week against UCF. Gave up 31 to South Florida, gave up 28 to Memphis. I wonder if this defense is wearing down a little bit as well going into this game. So the over is the first thing that stands out to me here at 65. Wouldn't surprise me to see a little bit of a shootout here down in the bayou between SMU and Tulane. And keep in mind, that's exactly what we have seen between these two teams the last 2 years. 37-34, 55-26, the final scores the last 2 years between these two teams, SMU winning both games. So I probably prefer the over more than a side in this game. What do you think here, Connor?
Yeah, the total's up there. What Tulane defense comes to play? Because that's the worst they played all year. All week, remember I mentioned it didn't move. And then Saturday, I kind of mentioned it, just tons of money on Tulane. And that number just stayed at 1. It just started scaring me the later in the week as it went. And they didn't come to play. They moved it well against UCF. They had a couple bad fumbles there, though. It was just 2 turnovers that were horrible for Tulane. I think they bounced back, but lane 3, I don't really want this either. I think it could get into a shootout as well. I'm just going to wait, though. I don't know if I want to pull the trigger so quick on the over, but you got to think SMU should move it. But I got to think Tulane's defense will be better this week, a little bit. So, yeah, this one's a wait and see for me.